Just real quick, before we get into this video, please do not harass RaeRowStudios or anybody else mentioned in this video. This video is only meant for me to discredit Ray, not to send harassment. Feel free to share your own opinion once you are done watching this video in the comments below. Alright, what's up you bunch? It's Mr. Frost back with a brand new video on the internet. Today we're looking at a YouTuber known as RaeRowStudios. She's an art commentary YouTuber similar to someone like Mushroom Girl. However, she made a now deleted video on Charlie Kirk claiming that he was a hateful and violent man as she responded to a comment she got. Here is an archived snippet of the video from Seraphim Owl, who I'm pretty familiar with. You should check him out. But let's watch the video real quick.
When did Charlie Kirk accuse them of being violent, my guy?
This shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were...
Now, you probably heard what he said. He said something along the lines of the black population had it better in the 1940s. Now, people can interpret this as something racist, as the Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964. He also said that Civil Rights Act itself was a mistake, and that was also interpreted as something racist, and to that I understand. But the problem is that people take what he says out of context, which many people do. However, the reason why he said Civil Rights Act was a mistake is because it allowed the federal government to regulate private businesses, eroding liberty, and creating the DEI bureaucracy that conservatives now despise because of how it artificially tries to hire people from a specific race or background, often to the extent where people who are actually qualified are dismissed because they are not white, as an example. In fact, he said that the intent of the Civil Rights Act was noble and a good idea. However, he also says that it was done the wrong way, as it has gone way over the scope of what it was originally made for. If you don't believe me, look it up. He actually said that himself. Do the research yourself, like I have, and stop listening to mainstream media and everybody that's in the same echo chamber. Anyways, let's go back to what I mentioned earlier. In Ray's video, she says in text that Charlie Kirk accused the entire black population of being inherently violent. First of all, he never explicitly said that. Secondly, he also mentions that blacks committed less crime in the 1940s, and the reason for that is because in the 40s, black communities were generally more stable and in tight-knit neighborhoods with two-parent households being very common. And this didn't just go for black people, but other races. However, as time went on, that's when things changed. Deindustrialization is one example. In the 60s to 70s, factory jobs that sustained black middle and working class families had vanished. Entire black neighborhoods had lost stable income sources because of the deindustrialization period. Another example is redlining and white flight. Segregation moved from legal to economic during that time. Investment drained out of black areas, schools decayed, property values collapsed, and opportunities shriveled. The war on drugs is another example. In the 80s, it criminalized poverty and addiction. Instead of investing in treatment or jobs, the government flooded those communities with police and prisons. There was also a time of mass incarceration and fatherless homes. Harsh sentencing laws ripped families apart, creating cycles of trauma and instability. Now, with all that being said, the reason Charlie Kirk said that blacks were better in the 1940s and the Civil Rights Act was a mistake was what I said earlier: big government, welfare state, and DEI. By pointing to the 40s, he mentions that blacks had stronger family structure, lower crime, more intact communities, and tradition. But he does acknowledge the quality of life was bad, and as I said earlier, he says that the intent of the Civil Rights Act was noble. He said that himself. He just said that it was done the wrong way. Now back to black crime increasing in today's age. There is actual data of black crime being higher than before in the 2020s compared to earlier decades. So no, Charlie Kirk isn't accusing the entire black population of being violent. All he did was discuss real data. He's not racist or bigoted for saying factual evidence. So that was my counter argument against Ray's video on Charlie Kirk. I want to discuss another video she put out called "The Shark That Swam Too Close to the Sun." Yep, this is another YouTuber who denounces my friend. I'm also going to watch this video and explain my opinions on Ray's thoughts on Shark Hunter because I can already tell she has nothing nice to say. Let's watch.
We're starting out with his hypocrisy because those are the least reprehensible things about him. They're still bad, but they're not on the same level as let me check my list here. Purposefully misgendering people. Don't worry, little Rays, we'll get into that soon. But let's start with his first hypocritical stance. He says that MG couldn't cover a video he made several months ago, despite the fact he still agreed with it, and then only 2 videos later did the exact same thing. Only it's worse because this creator's video is 2 years old.
Okay, already off to a rough start. Let me say this. It does not matter at all that the video Erotica made is 2 years old. What you say is what you say. You cannot change that.
Second hypocrisy point. He believes that everyone should respect his beliefs while also giving no respect to anybody else's beliefs. Multiple videos of him making fun of vegans for their beliefs.
He does not make fun of vegan persons in those videos. You see, if you actually watch the videos, because it looks like you haven't, I don't see any red seek bar on them. All he does is criticize the vegan diet in one, saying that it's not good for you, and the other one is a response video. He doesn't make fun of anybody in those videos, or any video he makes in that matter. But anyways, let's continue.
Saying that atheists have no morals.
I hate to say this, okay, no, I don't hate it, but Shark Hunter is right. Atheism and agnosticism, by their very nature, reject the notion of divine authority. This rejection leads to a profound problem. Without a higher power, morality becomes entirely subjective. What one person considers right or wrong is reduced to personal preference, devoid of any objective basis. Religion provides an ultimate judge God who holds individuals accountable for their actions. This accountability serves as a power deterrent against immoral behavior. Atheism and agnosticism, lacking such a judge, risk creating a culture where wrongdoers face no ultimate reckoning. Without the fear of divine punishment or the promise of divine reward, the incentive to act morally diminishes. Shark Hunter is technically correct. You cannot be moral without being religious.
He says that being gay is wrong because it's a sin.
Him saying being gay is wrong because it's a sin is not him disrespecting gay people. Shark Hunter and I said that we do not hate gay people. We don't hate anybody. However, it is our jobs to openly condemn things that go against God. In Leviticus chapter 18 verse 22, Moses wrote, "Do not have sexual relations with the man as one does with the woman. That is detestable." You see, Moses was writing what God was telling him. That very verse was referring to a man falling for another man instead of a woman. That is in Christianity alone, and I'm sure it's the same with Islam because Shark is Muslim and he said it himself.
And once again, misgendering people on purpose.
I'm sorry, I want to ask, are people really that sensitive over pronouns? A female is a woman and a woman only, and a male is a man and a man only. Yes, I will say it. Sex and gender are the same thing. Gender is just the terminology of sex. Man is male, woman is female. Man means human, and woman means human with a womb. A man will never be a woman, and a woman will never be a man. However, people have a mindset where you can change your gender because there are people with a mental distress known as gender dysphoria, and every transgender person has it. It doesn't mean they're delusional or freaks or demons. It just means that they're not right in the head. However, things like social media, the mainstream media, and certain government ideologies have said that this is normal and we should cater to it, so people end up making a commercial out of it, manipulating people further and further away from their own common sense, and they get greedy money at the end of it. Especially with children. Trust me, I have been brainwashed into this perverted ideology because I was exposed to such bullshit. Luckily, just a year ago, I finally went to church for the first time since I was a little kid, and I finally understood why this was so perverted and immoral. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked. Pronouns, gender identity, all of this links to sexuality in some degree. Sexuality should never be pushed out as an identity. Sexuality literally means sex life. So why in the hell are we pushing this shit to everybody, including kids? I'll say it, it's lack of morals and lack of connection with God. Things like pronouns, gender theory, sexuality, it all stems to that lack of intimacy with God of somebody. It's dangerous.
So tell me, Shark Hunter, why should anyone respect your beliefs when you clearly don't believe that you need to respect other people's beliefs? It takes $0 and 0 cents to practice what you preach. You cannot say, respect my beliefs and respect my values, and then call everyone else a degenerate for not having the same beliefs as you do.
Okay, if I call someone degenerate because of something that's far from human nature, that doesn't mean I disrespect the person itself. I respect anybody that respects me, and I know Shark has the same mentality. He respects people who respect him. But when people like you attack him and try to make him look like a villain, that's not being respectful. Shark Hunter never does that. All he does is call out degeneracy and does not follow what God intended. That doesn't mean he's disrespectful.
Speaking of which, his third hypocrisy point. He believes that he shouldn't be held to the very basic moral standing of don't misgender people or be homophobic or do bad things and then fall back on your religion when people point it out. But that's what his entire channel is about, holding other people who are years older than him to a standard he has made up based on his religion.
And there is nothing wrong with that at all. As I said, if you are Christian, Jewish, Muslim, whatever, you should defend your religion and defend God since you believe in Him. And you should condemn non-believers or people who flat out reject God as a whole. I'm not saying you should hate people. What I'm saying is call out immorality and degeneracy, which is exactly what Shark Hunter and what I do.
Today I'm going to be talking about degeneracy, a main topic in 99% of my videos. Now I'm going to be talking throughout many topics of this video, so yeah, let's get into this. Now degeneracy, in its most simpler words, is just a decline in your moral system. But where it gets tricky is different people have different moral systems, subjective morality, meaning you can't really define a set morality because it's always changing throughout the world and everybody has their different moral systems. It's impossible. That's why I usually like to define degeneracy as something that is furthest from human nature, which I think that most of everybody around the world should generally agree on. Even though a lot of people don't, that's the points that I argue on. And here's the thing with human morality. Human morality, throughout time, is always going to change. There's going to be new laws put in place, and we know throughout time human law always changes. So I think there needs to be a set amount of morals, a set barrier saying that this is wrong, this is right, and there's any argument with that. Which religions do pretty successfully. Take, for example, Islam with the Quran or Christianity.
So yeah, he just admitted to his entire belief on what is and is not degenerate being based on his religion, which in normal circumstances would be fine, great even, because that's his own beliefs. He's allowed to have them. But the problem arises when he dedicates his entire channel to telling people that they're degenerate because they, non-religious, non-Muslim people, don't follow his religious teachings. Again, back to the whole respect thing. Would Shark Hunter like it if I walked up to him and said, "You're a degenerate because you follow a religion that promotes beating people who aren't religious until they obey the teachings of Allah. You're such a degenerate for that." Now, I don't think he's an actual degenerate for this. All I'm saying is that if you think that me saying that was bad, then you should see how you saying you're a degenerate because my religion says blank about blank is also disrespectful.
No. Straight up no. Listen, I'm open for anybody's ideas, but me and Shark Hunter are not disrespectful people because we follow our religions. Now, I'll say I don't agree with beating the living shit out of another person if they don't believe in what you believe. And I could be wrong, but I don't think the Bible tells people to physically hurt people. So I can say that I don't agree with that. But I'm never gonna call Shark Hunter a piece of shit because he believes in that. Sure, I can not agree, but that doesn't mean I want to paint him as a villain. Also, I believe you misinterpreted what he said when he brought up religion in his video. He doesn't call people degenerate because they don't follow God, neither do I, but he does call out things against human nature and human biology. He makes videos calling out things that go against human nature, as he said. Things like poor diet, pornography, sin, and just flat out perverted people. For example, there's an indie game called The Coffin of Andy and Lele that has a very dedicated community behind it. Hearing that, you might think that there's nothing wrong with that, and yeah, I do agree, but this game is controversial for a reason, and that reason is it has an incest scene. Andy and Lele, the main protagonists, are siblings, and there are quite a few incestuous scenes in the game. There's also scenes depicting satanic rituals, cannibalism, and child abuse. And when I played the game myself, I played the game, it made me feel off. Now, don't get me wrong, it does a good job at psychological horror, but I bring up the game because I want to talk about the fan base for a little bit, and the fan base is literally the most perverted video game fan base I've ever seen. For example, the subreddit. If you go there, you'll see the most bullshit perversion ever. They literally fetishize the incest part of the game. Now, me and Shark Hunter made our share of the video game fan base, and pointing out how perverted the game and its fan base is, and Shark Hunter was literally berated with so many comments attacking him. Not respectful criticism, hate comments. And that is the kind of stuff we love to call out, because this isn't how people should act. It's not Christ-like.
Hypocrisy point number 4. His opinion on edgy jokes will constantly change depending on whether he's the butt of it or not. And someone has already told me, well, of course he doesn't like being the butt of the joke. He's only 14 or 15 or whatever. And my stance on that is, you cannot start what is supposed to be a joke and then whine like a little baby that someone added on to the joke. My first example being the whole shark dictator joke. For context, one of Shark Hunter's fans gave him an AI generative video where he was murdering all of his fans. Shark Hunter found this funny and unpromptedly sent this to MG. MG, joking around and taking this AI generative video as a joke, added on to the joke by calling him Shark Dictator. Shark Hunter, for some oddball reason, thought that MG was being 100% and completely serious about this statement, so he made an entire video absolutely whining about how MG's trying to make it seem like I'm an actual Nazi. Yeah, the video he made on her was extremely stupid and honestly very pathetic. If you guys want me to cover that, please say down below. But yeah, it's honestly embarrassing to watch. Shark Hunter's evidence for why he believes that MG for real thinks he's a Nazi is because he found 3 comments that supposedly prove it. She only liked one of these comments, and they're obviously joking. And the other 2, while yes, could be taken seriously, aren't liked by MG at all. And he also takes every single joke seriously. Even the mermaid joke he took extremely seriously. Overall, what I have to say about this is, he's clearly only mad because he's the butt of the joke. There's no other way around it. He's only mad because he's the butt of the joke. And again, I'm not saying he can't be mad, I'm just saying it's extremely hypocritical to say, me and my fans can make jokes about killing you, but you can't make jokes about me being a shark dictator. That's crossing the line. Side note, I just find it extremely funny that the guy who made a whole expose debunking video on an obvious joke, someone who is clearly butthurt at the fact that he's been made the butt of his own crass joke, is the one whining about how we're taking it too seriously. Even though we, the MG fans, have been doing nothing but laughing.
So much I have to talk about. Either you are severely mistaken, or you are genuinely retarded. I think you're just a retard. Here's the thing, it was Mushroom Girl who took it too seriously, and she said some things that are not true, and all Shark Hunter did was call it out. He didn't go butthurt over the fact that she called him a Nazi. He simply politely called out the misinformation that Mushroom Girl was sharing for the sake of clicks. That's all.
Whew, finally, we're out of the hypocrisy points. But unfortunately, it doesn't get any better from here. So strap in, because now we're going on to... So this is a reoccurring thing with Shark Hunter, but his beliefs will stay regularly the same, but he'll have a different reason for it every single time, so I'll be debunking the two main ones. The first one being, 18 plus content is bad because it's addicting, which it would only become addicting if you do too much of it. And newsflash, doing too much of anything is bad for you. You eat too much? Guess by this logic, we have to stop eating because you could get an addiction from eating.
He knows anything is addicting. Eating, video games, and yeah, simply viewing porn isn't bad as long as it doesn't arouse you or something, but addiction to pornography can set unrealistic expectations for both men and women, but men have it worse. Masturbation can develop something called erectile dysfunction, and with that on top of viewing porn, it develops porn-induced erectile dysfunction. Call me a nerd, it's true. Don't believe me? Then look up the hundreds and hundreds of articles on the internet, or better yet, just ask AI if it's true or not. It will give you the sources you need and it will summarize it up.
Or if we follow Shark Hunter's logic of it produces unnatural dopamine and that's bad, why do you get to play video games? That's also an unnatural dopamine-filled activity that you could get addicted to. So why do you get to participate in an unnatural dopamine-filled activity, but we can't?
I like how you say we instead of I, like you're part of a marginalized group of people. That's funny to me. You are right, video games and pornography do cause unnatural dopamine alike. However, video games actually have their benefits. Hand-eye coordination, strategic thinking, social connection, even stress relief. But games can and do waste your time. Same thing with binging on whatever shitty Netflix show you decide to put on. Except Breaking Bad, I watch the entire show nonstop. I hate to admit it, masturbation can be healthy. Sometimes, get that, sometimes, not all the time. Same goes to video gaming, as the benefits I listed for that. Even ChatGPT says self-pleasure can relieve stress, it can help you understand your bodily function, releasing tension. Hell, I didn't even know this. It can improve sleep. However, it does say that pornography is different. Watching a little bit isn't gonna fry your brain automatically, but if you watch porn and masturbate excessively, it can be unhealthy. It tells the brain to prefer pixels instead of real intimacy. It becomes a dependency for that dopamine rush. I'll give you that, even video gaming. I do have Half-Life on the screen right now, but I actually recorded this a week ago. I don't play as much video games as I used to. Believe me, I've been there. I play video games all day at one point. Now, most of my free time is doing homework, reading, and listening to music. Most of the time when I use screens is going on YouTube and X to see what's going on. So I can get video ideas, and so I can watch movies. If you know me in person and came to my house, you'll either see me read in my bedroom, standing outside listening to music, or watching a movie. Yes, sometimes here and there, I will go on Steam and throw on a game to play, and I will record it for my videos. Anyways, as I was saying, yes, you are correct. Video games and porn both give you unnatural dopamine. However, porn is worse. Yes, video game addiction is bad, and it can waste your time and goals in life because you'll be chasing fake goals, which is why I mostly play story games. But as you can see, porn is worse because it can rewire your brain's reward system, artificial stimulation, and it gets you aroused by a screen rather than actual sex. It builds unrealistic expectations that when you do have sex, it won't meet your expectations. You might not enjoy it as you'd expect. Now, here is the more controversial side of my argument. Let's look at it through a religious perspective. More specifically, a Christian perspective, since I'm a Christian. Video game addiction can fall under stewardship and idolatry, and it's the same case with movies and music, or any form of entertainment for that matter. However, porn falls pretty quickly into lust. In fact, it is lust because porn's purpose is to get you sexually aroused by watching other people have their own little private time. Well, it's not so private when you put it out into the entire world. But my point is that in Matthew chapter 5 verse 28, Jesus says, quote, "I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart," end quote. In other words, looking at someone with lustful thoughts or sexual desire, that being porn, that desire isn't yours to have because it's like committing adultery in your mind. Adultery also falls under cheating on your spouse, intimacy with someone you aren't married to, or in Bible terms, it's breaking the promise you made to God that you shouldn't do anything serious before marriage. Even fantasizing about other people counts as a kind of betrayal. So that's what adultery is, and that's a serious sin. Video games do not fall under that at all. So porn and video games are not the same thing in terms of addiction. Porn is much worse, and it can ruin your life, especially if you're planning to have such intimacy with your wife, or anybody else for that matter.
Whoa, I only do it for a few hours a day. Well, one, you said participating in an unnatural dopamine-filled activity at all is bad. And secondly, it's more likely for someone to look at 18+ content once or twice a month, or even less than that, than it is for them to do it daily. Heck, it's more likely that they've never seen 18+ content ever than it is for them to do it daily. And on top of that, 63.3% of the population is in normal range of consumption with 18+ content, and only 5.6% could be classified as addicted to it.
So just because it's a lower survey number means it's better than video games? You probably didn't mean it like that, but if you do, that's fuck. Also, these are just survey numbers. This number could be double for all we know. Just look at the billions of visits on porn sites like Pornhub. A lot of people never admit their addiction because they are afraid of being exposed and looking like a pervert. I mean, who can blame them? Would you publicly share to the world that you just had sex? Probably not. Video games, however, is media consumption. It's not a taboo thing to do, so people gladly share that to the public. Also, saying porn consumption is better in moderation is like saying smoking is better in moderation. In fact, I believe porn is much better compared to smoking than video games because both are harmful to the body. Oh, but porn can't physically hurt you. Yeah, but mentally it can. But at the end of the day, anything can be addictive. Even eating rocks can be addictive. So the lesson here is addiction is bad. And if you are addicted to something, quit it completely. Don't half-ass it and do it in moderation. No, cold turkey it. Cut it off completely if you have to. If your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. That's a Bible quote, by the way. And no, it's not meant to be taken literally. You shouldn't take your eye out.
And if we follow your other belief of
exceptions don't make up the majority,
then you're fighting against something you already believe is a non-problem and that you shouldn't be concerned about. And to his second reasoning of it's inappropriate for kids, duh. Wow, guys, 18+ content isn't appropriate for kids. What are we going to learn next? That forks are commonly found in kitchen? That the sky can turn between colors of orange and blue? Are you gonna say you went into your bedroom and found a bed of all things?
All of those are common sense, just like how porn isn't appropriate should be common sense. However, for some persons, it isn't. He says it's inappropriate for kids because he's trying to remind anybody that, hey, this is common sense. It doesn't make him stupid or anything.
Now, if he was just making videos about creators who didn't properly label their content, then this video most likely wouldn't have been made because that's rather reasonable. But he's not. He goes after every content creator who makes 18+ content, labeled or not. Which would be bad enough, but he's trying to spread around the narrative that they are purposefully showing this inappropriate content to kids. Which, when you realize that the majority of the people he's claiming this about literally don't do that, then yeah, he's spreading around the false information that they're doing that on purpose. And that gets even badder when you realize that some of the people he's claiming this towards literally do the exact opposite. But we'll get into that later. Shark Hunter's main defense for this is, well, kids ignore the warning, so that's the artist's fault somehow. But like, how though? They gave a warning. They know what they're getting into once they click on that video with the label in it. Again, I would get it if it was 18 plus content that wasn't labeled, but you're going after 18 plus content that is labeled. That doesn't make any sense. But kids ignore warnings, I can hear someone cry. And my response to that is, so, let me apply that logic to literally anything else. A family of 4 goes into a movie theater. They buy tickets for Inside Out 2, but the 12 and 9-year-old want to watch a rated R movie. So, they wait till nobody's looking and make a book for it into the rated R movie. Hours later, the parents come out screaming about how the movie theater traumatized their children. Now, who is at fault here? Is it A, the people who made the rated R movie? B, the people who gave them the tickets to Inside Out 2? C, the kids who literally snuck into the movie? Or D, the parents who weren't watching their children? If you said C or D, congratulations. You apparently have more critical thinking skills than Shark Hunter. Here's a golden star.
Your sarcasm is unfunny. It comes off as very passive-aggressive. There's no need to be this emotional. But I do see that you're trying to make a point, and you do, that Shark Hunter says that warnings don't work. I mean, yeah, a simple warning only blocks retards out. However, you are right on one thing. It is the parents' fault for not monitoring their kid, but it's not the kid's fault. Kids are too stupid to take responsibility, and they are clueless of consequences at a young age. Kids don't know better. It's the parents' responsibility to make sure their kid doesn't watch such vile content, such as inappropriate movies, and especially porn. It's also the system that indoctrinates people to think about those such ideas and later go on to create said vile content that's at fault. But it's also the responsibility of the content producers that decided to create such vile content. So it's pretty valid that Shark Hunter blames the creators.
But now that we're done pointing out the obvious stupidity in his arguments, let's move on to what I would call the... Now, just to give you an idea on how much of a pearl clutcher Shark Hunter is, this is a profile from an artist named Dick Chew. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but anyway, this is the censored image Shark Hunter put in this video. Look at it for a while. I want you to guess what he's censoring. You got a good idea in your head? Cool. Now let me show you the image he censored. Yep, this kid is such a pearl clutcher. He censored fully covered boobs. Yeah, that gives you a pretty good idea on what type of person Shark Hunter is, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that definitely does give me an idea on what type of person Shark Hunter is. Let me say it real quick. From what I can interpret from what you just showed me and your audience, Shark Hunter is someone who doesn't want to get in trouble by YouTube. Now, you just saw I didn't censor it because Ditchu didn't censor it and she didn't get in trouble for it. And if I do get in trouble for it and she doesn't, I can write an unfair policy complaint to YouTube. Another thing I've interpreted from what you showed me in your audience is that Shark Hunter is a person that respects modesty. Is that not good? Also, as of me writing this part of the video, Shark Hunter says the reason is because her style in general is pretty suggestive and he doesn't want people to fall into lust. In my opinion, cool. There's nothing wrong with censoring breasts, even if they are covered in a shirt. It's pretty valid.
Now, Shark Hunter has claimed that this person is a degenerate and is purposefully showing inappropriate content to kids. Now, let me show you why that's false. Dick Chew has several accounts: a YouTube, a Patreon, a Twitter, a Newgrounds, a Blue Sky, and a Ko-fi page. Let's start with the thing that's actually linked in Shark Hunter's video, which is this person's YouTube channel. And surprise, surprise, the kid-rated app is kid-friendly. Shocker, shocker there. Now let's check their Ko-fi page, which is for adults because only adults have those type of money. And would you look at that, only 2 images and they're completely safe for kids to look at.
I'm genuinely asking, are these images safe for kids to look at? Well, guess what? Not exactly. ChatGPT says while it can't make assumptions, the art isn't pornographic, but it's definitely not aimed at young children. It fits better for teens or adults with better understanding. Technically not explicit, but it is suggestive.
Now let's check her Newgrounds. Literally everything is age restricted to one of the categories on Newgrounds. Shocker, shocker there. Their Blue Sky and Twitter, which is both 16 and 17 plus rated. One of them being 18 plus rated. And, you know, this would be stupid enough if he went after them with an 18 plus rated app and they actually were doing 18 plus content there. But when I tell you the absolute most adulty it gets over there is this, yeah, this is how bad it gets. And trust me, I've went through their entire catalog. And this is the most sexual it gets up in there.
Her Newgrounds page is a plus because she does age restrict her art. Good on her for that. But her X and Blue Sky page are nothing but warnings. On her X page is the ass cheeks artwork. And no, I'm not pulling that image up again. Phew! I have watched this entire video back to back twice, and she just repeats the same points over and over again, and I don't want to make this video any longer than it already is. So in conclusion to this part of the video, she brings up points that are easy for me to counter argue, and she's very passive aggressive at a ton of videos. Like, there's no need to be this pissed off. It's always aggression and emotion with these people. It's honestly a bit disheartening to see this kind of behavior to others, and it makes me feel bad. If you guys want a part 2 where I cover her meme animations or some other video you want me to cover, comment down below. I also want to tell you guys the reason I haven't been uploading as frequent as I usually do is because I'm dealing with some mental struggles, and I'm also putting high school as my #1 priority in life because I need to keep my grades consistent, and I've had personal troubles with the ones I've gotten involved with, such as my friends. Tons of personal shit I'm dealing with at once. Now, I won't get too personal here. That's for another channel in the making dedicated to sharing stuff about my personal life. You'll see it once it's there. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe. To those who are watching on Rumble, thank you. To those who are watching on TikTok, thank you. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.